Good evening. Well, I had enough. 3 days in a row. Whenever I hit a bump in the local dirt road, this saddle would pivot to the rear. No matter how tight I fasten this nut, at some point it must break. And the strange thing is, the nut on the other side I cannot turn. See, well, hardly a few degrees. So I had enough. I'm going to take off the saddle and weld the adjustment point. I know I did something similar years ago, probably also with a Chinese crab saddle. These are old school logs, they really suck. And it's not like the saddle has been slid towards the back. Although I must admit, my ass is kind of mighty. Does this suck? I just noticed that the seat post is dented at multiple locations. Here, there, here again, and a little bit on the front. Yeah, I guess I'm to blame for that, because I did probably overtension that Chinese piece of crap. That is sitting perfectly fine, by the way. But I guess I didn't know that this was even possible. Tomorrow I will check the scrap metal container and see if I can find an old seat post. Why wait till tomorrow when you have a flashlight? Oh, that's pretty loose. This seat post came from that Gazelle bicycle that I scrapped. And it's actually not fitting. I thought these things were all the same size. Apparently not. The one from the scrap metal container is about 25.8, and the heavily dented seat post is 25.3 or something. It actually says 25.4 right here. So I guess I will keep using this. I just noticed that the other seat post is also slightly dented here and here. Perhaps this is a more common problem than I thought possible. I guess that's clean enough. I installed the saddle in the vise because this welding clamp for the earth is, well, it's too heavy and the saddle would fall off the workbench. Now this is going to be a Hail Mary attempt. First, I'm hoping I got the angle of the log more or less correct-ish, and I hope there will not be any welding spatter burning a hole into the well, whatever this Chinese crab is. And well, basically I'm hoping this will work. Here we go. Way too high. Spatter, spatter, spatter. A little bit more over here because I burned a hole. Well, I think this is strong enough. I thought you might like a close-up from my mediocre welding job. It's not something I'm very proud of. But I'm also not ashamed. Welding is still hot. I guess I should loosen up the log. Alright, let's try that again, now that I loosened up the nuts. Yeah, there it is. It is still, well, I can still adjust it more than I like, more than I expected. That sucks. So I thought the saddle was skipping over these serrations, but maybe it's a problem with the dent in the seat post. You know, I'm a bit confused at this moment. I will replace the lock with something that's a little bit better, but I will do this another time. For now, I will install this Brooks B66 saddle that I recently fixed up. Of course, Imperial nuts driving me nuts. I had to use my special modified Brooks spanner. Man, still difficult, huh? Alright. Man, these old school logs, they suck. But I think the problem here is in the seat post. Let's see what happens when I rotate the seat post 45 degrees. It does look a little bit oval if when looking at the seat post from the top. Now most of the dents are at the front. Let's try the Chinesium saddle again. And it's still a little bit warm, but it won't hurt. Yeah, that's still not good. I guess I will have to look for another seat post. And I probably dented the seat post myself when I over tensioned these nuts. Yeah. Well, at least now I know what happened. Well, I think I know what happened. Well, I found an aluminium seat post in my hoard of junk. And this one might be fitting, but it might also be a tenth of a millimeter too big. It is somewhat fitting. No. Feels like I'm hitting a stop. So I guess I will stop and look for a normal steel seat post. Now, how do I get this thing out here? Oh man, oh boy, this is going to hurt. I wish I had a slide hammer. Check how this saddle was mounted on this aluminium seat post at an angle. And well, I did this because my eyes were above the saddle. And I bet that that other seat post got dented because that saddle was also mounted incorrectly. These more modern seat posts are way superior to these old school log style seat posts. But unfortunately this one isn't fitting. Here you can see that there's a little bit of damage on this aluminium seat post because I mounted that saddle incorrectly. And I guess if you go out riding like this, it might be possible that this whole seat post at some point will just snap off. I guess the next time that I mount a saddle, I will definitely take more care of the whole process. So the welding that I did kind of warped these parts, because on this side there now is a bit more room than at the top. Well, actually it's the bottom. But it turns out I had a brand new log or strap or whatever this thing is called in my hoard of bicycle junk. I wonder why I have this. There might be something wrong with that. But I just noticed that the rails on this saddle are rather narrow. A bit more narrow than this log is. I wonder if that will be a problem. Well, I managed to remove the lug, and my welding completely sucked because it broke here. That actually made it easy to remove. But it looks like the rail on the saddle has been pinched together, because this brand new log that I have isn't really fitting. I don't know if these saddles come in different size rails, but I might have fucked this one up. Yeah, that's always a chance of happening. It's too bad that these bicycle frame spreaders are too big. Otherwise I could use them to try and bend these back into position. And I guess the same is true for this coil spring compression tool, and that's for a car. Yeah, and I'm certainly not strong enough to bend this back by hand. So I guess I just wasted a perfectly fine saddle. It was sitting rather nice. Well, I searched, but I don't have the correct size seat post. I was hoping that this one that came from that Gazelle frame that I scrapped would be fitting, but it's too big. And the other ones are either too small or too big. I didn't know that there were so many different sizes seat post. Yeah, I know that there were a lot of different sizes in aluminium ones for on the mountain bike, but I thought metal normal bicycle frames would be the same. But I guess not. For now I will reinstall the old seat post. But look at this, when I twist the seat post, it kind of changes the angle inside the log. So I definitely need to find another seat post. But not tonight. I will reinstall this and hope for the best. Well, I had to take this log apart to properly seat it onto the seat post. And I think this is working. The dent is over here, so the strap is way past the dent. Although at the moment there is a little bit of play on this side. Also on this side. But hopefully when I tighten this up, that will all disappear. And here comes my freshly restored Brooks B66 saddle. So there you have it, my uncle's old Gazelle bicycle with a Brooks B66 saddle. It looks nicer than that Chinesium piece of crap, although I am a bit Sorry that I fucked that up. I guess from now on I will be on the lookout for a 25.4 millimeter seat post. But I am kind of hoping that I will not run into any more saddle problems. And I already know that I like this saddle because of the figure springs on this model. Alright, if you actually watch this shit, I'm sorry, but I did learn something. And to be honest, I don't really care if you got something out of this. I apologize for being a bit cranky. It was late and I needed my beauty sleep. The next bicycle shit show will hopefully be a better one, because then I will try and fix the Sturmy Archer 3-speed with some WD-40. And as always, thanks for suffering through this bicycle shit. Like, subscribe, yada yada yada, and to be continued.